Hi, hello, welcome back to another Drag Race outfit ranking video where I discuss my top 10 favorite looks of a Drag Race season. Today we are tackling Drag Race All-Stars 6, a season that, I will be honest, did not have a ton of really iconic fashion moments. I think was iconic in its own way, but not necessarily because of the runway. So today I'm going to be discussing my top 10. And remember, as always, if you do not see your favorite look, it doesn't mean I thought it was bad, just means it didn't make my top 10. So without further ado, let's jump in. Starting in the number 10 slot is Yara Sophia's Redemption Runway. I'm gonna be honest and real here. I don't think this was a look that needed to be redone by Yara. I do think she had some other ones that may not have been as strong. Specifically, both runways that she had to lip sync on. I think either one of those could have been done. I think the promo was already strong enough as it existed then. What I will give to Yara is that she looks exactly as she did all of those years ago. I think this was something like 11 years between season 3 and All-Star 6, and to have that snatched of a body still, to look the way that she does and her skin still look really smooth and clear is incredible. I mean, if I were to look from 11 years ago where I am now, I definitely have gotten a very different body than what I had back then. So to be able to maintain that for 11 years is pretty fantastic. And I do want to give her props for that. That doesn't have anything to do with the fashion, but the fact that she can wear something like this and show off that much leg, that much arm, and just look snatched is so impressive. I like the lace. I like the applique details. I like this half cape. And then the makeup and the hair is just absolutely stunning. It looks like Yara did all those years ago, just upscaled. In the number 9 slot is Ginger Minj's Hot Tropics look. This was a runway that I think had so much potential, and I don't know if everyone reached the potential that this could have been. I love this kind of like Snooki vibe that she's going for. This big gingery hair. Love this pattern on this fabric that she has for this garment. And then it all draws into that center point where that center brooch is. This is a hot look for Ginger, and I don't think of her as someone who's a fashion girl, like, at all. So to see Ginger in a garment that is so nice looking and really complimentary to her skin tone, to the styling and everything, I think is something unexpected. So Ginger took the 9th spot for me. In the number 8 slot is Ginger Minj once again for the finale. I love a handkerchief skirt, and I love a literal handkerchief skirt, because this looks like a dozen hankies all layered upon each other. It looks like a tropical starburst pack, and I absolutely am obsessed with that. The hair is super freaking cute. Love the way that the fabric has been layered on top of itself to create all of this shape. And she doesn't look like she's getting swallowed by it, which I think is the most important thing when people wear big, bulky garments like this, especially when you're the size of Ginger and you're like 3 feet tall. It can look like it's swallowing you up, like baby's first pageant and she's in 500 yards of tulle and you're like, where's the kid? That could sometimes happen with people of Ginger's stature. So I think she looks beautiful. She's got a great shape here. I love the asymmetry of the shoulders. Asymmetry is the theme of this season, I think. And just these colors are so cute on her. Very much in the Ginger brand. I would change the shoes. I don't love those, but that's neither here nor there. Moving into the number 7 slot is Scarlet Envy's Clash of the Patterns look. I almost called her Scarlet Harlot. I almost called her Scarlet Bobo. There's too many Scarlets. This look is so pretty. I love the shoe choice, first off. The little gloves and the pearls. The accessorization is what really makes this stand out. I don't think it's necessarily a clashing pattern. I think some other people in the group did maybe a better clash. However, even though this isn't 100% on theme with the runway, it looks beautiful and luxe. Love the cutouts of these panels, and that it is something that means something to her. And I think this honestly is Scarlett's best makeup era of all the times that we've seen her on Drag Race. This is the most slayage Scarlett, I think. Plus that red lip. Ugh, it's such a nice touch to add a color pop to this otherwise semi-monochromatic look. Love the cutout of the bodice. I think everything about this is very spot on. It looks era appropriate to what Scarlett usually goes for, with a more modern twist. In the number 6 slot is Trinity K. Bonet's Lip Sync for Your Life look against Laganja. I know this might be a little bit of an unconventional one, but it is a look that was on the runway for a little bit. I think this jacket is so freaking cool with these long stockings. I love the color blocking here. There's something very 80s / early 90s about this look. And the fact that this was physical, which is riffing off of Olivia Newton-John's physical, I think this is such a spectacular look for that retro futurism aspect of going back to an era that the song is referencing, but also keeping it kind of modern with this panty being visible only. Or I guess it's more of like a swimsuit. In any case, this is a hot look. Trinity was turning it out every single week on season 6. So to see her come into All Star 6 and bring a level of high glam is also really impressive. I liked a lot of what Trinity did this season. This lip sync look was really fun, and I had to give it some props because of all the lip sync looks, I don't think a lot of them were stellar across the board. Speaking of which, we'll get into another one in just a little bit, but that's a spoiler. In the 5th slot is Akira C. Davenport's entrance look. She looks beautiful. What are all those dumb memes? Akira Davenport stuns in entrance look. I love the bodice. I don't normally see that sort of blunt cut above the breast with that little like triangular cut that's in between them. With the lacing in the middle is really interesting. I love the jewelry that she's chosen for the neck as well as the earrings. And then these gloves, which have cuts in them so that half of the fingers are covered and the other half are not. I think that's marvelous. The way that this sequiny fabric underneath what appears to be an iridescent, semi-translucent sheet of fabric layered on top of that is smart looking. It gives it a lot of depth and visual interest. When I think Akira, I think luxness, and this absolutely does the thing. Plus having a bodysuit underneath it all so that you can have a level of modesty with this big open coochie skirt is so cool. They're almost like chaps because it opens in the back as well. Akira looks stunning. In the number 4 slot is Ginger Minj's Clash of the Patterns. Ginger is one who did it the best on that runway, I think, because these really are hideous patterns with this ugly pattern on the boot and on the hat, but also incorporating, do you see this black and white leafette pattern that's on the heel of the boot and is lining the hat? That's also on the cuffs of the wrist. That is lining the peplum on the jacket. That's lining the belt. This is such a cool look for a lot of different reasons. Problem patterns, I think, are really, they're difficult to wear. Not a lot of people can. And Ginger pulled it off because she just was not afraid to go there. And I think Ginger did that quite a bit this season, was just not afraid to go there. Same with her look that she did for Pop Art. Very similar, where it was unafraid and it was inspired to go in the direction of the challenge. And I'm just obsessed with all of the intricacies and the customness that went into this, because there's no way you could find this anywhere. Not with the boots and the hat matching each other. This is a stunning piece of work. In the number 3 slots is Laganja Estrange's lip sync assassin outfit. Now I know that Laganja was not competing, but this look is marvelous. I watched the BTS for this, of her picking out the fabrics, of her going through and making sure that the designers did exactly what she wanted to emulate. I'm going to start off with the things that stick out to me first. That's the belt that comes off so that that initial exoskeleton can come off that's got all these different feathers on it in a way that's been placed that looks so intentional, not accidental. Then there's this chunky zipper right on the corset. And there's all of these different paillettes and rhinestones that have been meticulously added to make sure that it shines and sparkles from every angle. Not to mention a bodysuit underneath it. So Laganja thought, head to toe, full performance, keep them interested, always keep going and removing stuff so that they'll keep their eyes on me. With this hair that's been dip dyed in this weed green, it's just chef's kiss all the way around. Laganja put so much more work into this than half the contestants did into their regular runway packages, and I think that should be commended and studied. And also, I think Laganja may be the most interesting on the runway of any lip sync assassin of all time, maybe right next to Evie in All Stars 5. In the number 2 slot is Trinity K. Bonet's Blue Ball Bonanza. I'm utterly obsessed and enamored with this look because this is not material that I think would be easy to work with. This meshy material looks quite dense and bulky, and I can imagine that running that through a sewing machine would be just the absolute worst. I've worked with material that's kind of like this. It, I think, came from the dollar store when I was using it. And it was like a big, bulky netting material that I don't even know what its intentionality is for, but I had to hand stitch it because my sewing machine did not like it and it kept ripping the fabric. So this looks like a material that would be kind of hard to work with, first off. And then there's something underneath it that looks also kind of dense. And then this corset, which has been meticulously stoned so that it's got so much interest in it, with these big puff sleeves that go all the way around. I know that a Cinderella ball gown has been done to death on Drag Race, but I love what Trinity did here. It's probably my favorite of all the Cinderella gowns. Scarlett did something in UK versus the World 2 that was quite lovely and stunning, and it was full bodied, but the materials looked kind of easier to work with than what Trinity had here. And besides it just being a well-designed look, the fact that she made that is what dropped it into number 2. And then, of course, the number 1 slot, edging you there, goes to Trinity K. Bonet once again in the pop art runway. Girl, let me tell you, Miss Trinity did the thing for me. When I saw that the category was pop art, I got really excited because pop art is a fun springboard to incorporate your drag aesthetic, your drag design, the way that your brain works, and put it on the runway. Trinity making a political statement here, talking about the Black Lives Matter movement, is really, really important, especially at this time. It was starting to get some wind underneath its feet. This was an important era for that movement. And I think with Trinity bringing attention to that on the world's biggest stage is extremely impactful in more ways than I think people realize. These colors look incredible on her. I love her in this gold satin with this hand painted of the black to really make it look like it came right out of the pages of a comic book. The big buttons that were painted on as well. And then this purple comic book fabric that's over that to create a little more visual interest so that it's not just one color all the way across. And I'm a big fan of a high-low. That's when one side is higher up and the other side is lower. And then with these puffs on the hair, oh, Miss Trinity took my wig and threw it across the room.
Oh, my wig.
She looks so good, looks directly out of a comic book. She looks like pop art, and her makeup also emphasizes that story. You could see the white on her lip, lined in that dark black with the really intense makeup. She looks like she came out of like the Telltale series, that art style. Very, very cool work from Trinity. And that has been my top 10 favorite looks of Drag Race All Stars 6. Let me know what some of your favorite looks were in the comments below, and I will see y'all on the flip.